in a best of three like this.
Yeah, I mean, that's an excellent point here. That's going to be another highlight here. If both oppers are able to hit some of their peaks, like you said here, that both have a lot of experience, both can bring in their win conditions here for this team. So very much so looking forward to that head-to-head, man. It feels like all things considered, we have an absolute brawl ahead, but we are going to be hopping into the action here as we kick off the first map of the grand finals, Anubis, to start us off here for the series. So looking forward to this again. Finally getting to see this new map here for these two teams. Been constantly getting banned out by Forsaken here, but Wolfie gonna start things off here, and that's gonna be taken care of EliGE. The one player we highlighted coming into this out of the gates is now watching from the sidelines as the pistol round starts.
Night and day performance from EliGE between today and yesterday, but as you said, won't be able to contribute this time around. M80 at a standstill, stacking 3 on this B bomb site early on, trying to get some E-box control, but decide to give it away. And JT on the other side of the map, trying to sell a little bit something, but eventually realizes that there is no fights to be taken. Smoke coming in here. I believe this is on for that B bomb site. And here comes that set piece into the beta bomb site. 3 players to defend.
Oh, Nobs gonna be the next piece of the puzzle here on this defense. They still have another player in towards the cubby, but Grim and hallzerk will answer back just as quickly. But maNkz finally a multi-kill comes through for him. 2 on the P2K, but hallzerk still stands here in the 1v3 and finds one of those kills needed here. A lot of those dually bullets being shot out of the gun here, but a quick headshot in this batch of Rex flank, and he just whips out the bomb at the wrong time. Swisher not baited out into the aggression here. As time continues to tick, he doesn't have armor. He needs to land these quick kills here. And Swisher gonna be able to windle him down with the dually. Some quick kills, quick damage done, and M80 will close out the opening pistol.
Yeah, sharp shooting there from Wolfie and Mulbs to get the initial frags, but I have to give the credit to maNkz there to get another 2-piece before going down. Stalls for just long enough by diving into that smoke, and as soon as that happens, you know, Swisher is there to respond in kind from CT Ruins. Gets that opening pistol, puts the pressure on Complexity immediately. One thing that Complexity had to really rely on in that previous series against Forsaken was those fast, hot starts. They could carry on the momentum for quite some time, but now, potentially, they might have to dig deep and find the momentum themselves. How are they able to do that when the kind of chips are down early on here? Because we have seen some mental collapses from this roster in previous series in this qualifier, and we definitely don't want to see something like that. Of course, it's still early days, but it's going to be this A play to potentially try to break in with this force buy.
Yeah, 100%. They do entrust EliGE, though, with a extra bit of firepower here. Floppy gonna go in first, and he absolutely nails Rec to the wall right there. That's one problem solved here, but one more in the back of the site, overrun by the Tech 9, and there's EliGE striking with the AK. That's been entrusted into him. Complexity going to storm that A bomb site, facilitated by Floppy's disgusting entry right there with a deagle, and that is gonna be enough to win the round right there. There's gonna be no more say. M80, they just have to save.
Yeah, there's no response that you can give to Complexity, especially when Floppy's hitting shots like that. And the way they swarm that bomb site, they don't let Wolfie get comfortable at the back of Cake. The trades are just so swift. He's only due for one. And then EliGE, of course, coming up behind at the end of the pack to close things out. I mean, this is the kind of back and forth I'd love to see to start things out in this series. I want to see that brawl. So much individual skill on the server today. And it's really just who's on for these next couple of hours. You blink and you miss it, and your spot and a shot at IEM Sydney can just vanish right before your eyes. All these rounds are just so key. They all add up eventually.
Absolutely. And like you said here, the mental battle is a whole nother story here. Complexity, we've seen the struggles of that in the past here. We've seen the revival here today as well. So, you know, maybe overcoming and really discussing some of those, you know, fragilities that they've had yesterday is really promising. You do like to see that out of them. Meanwhile, M80, I don't know if this team really knows what it feels like to lose, you know, as of recent, constantly getting victories, starting off their ECL seasons incredibly strong, right, and just dispatching of a lot of the toughest rosters that NA has on offer here. But they've got a whole other challenge at hand, and that's complexity, and you can see why. Grim finding the multiple kills here. maNkz stands with his weapon of choice there, the Deagle in hand. Tries to deliver more than one, but can't be afforded to him here. And last ditch effort from Swisher through the smoke. It does get forced right on back there. Nice little 1D from hallzerk, actually. And Grim gonna finish off the job with a nice little 3K.
3 set pieces there off the rip from complexity, and M80 don't really have an answer. Flashes are great. The smokes to cordon off some angles are just as good as well. And of course, I mean, with the lesser weaponry, you need those instant headshots. As soon as the clips run dry, complexity run through the defense. Fantastic work from complexity. And M80 have to go back to the drawing board with these default pistols, reset. And when we do talk about M80's streak, we have to talk about the fact that they've only dropped 2 maps in the last 2 weeks of play. I mean, I think that's around 5 or 6 best of 3s in there, and they just look untouchable in that sense. Granted, it is against lesser competition, but the fashion in which they're actually winning these games is so impressive to me. Speaking of impressive, Floppy with cute little 3K there, but maNkz chiming in with another. Nice damage here on this complete anti-eco, and maNkz with another. That's a spicy deagle on the hallzerk. The bomb does go down, and there's no rifle to really be recovered here, and there's a smoke to recycle into E-box. It should be okay here for complexity.
Yeah, unless they give over a kill to this boost, but they're not going to let that slide here. Playing a little bit too diligent in the 2v2. Time's too far ticked. As they disassemble here, the best case maybe is to try and save. But instead, they're going to walk into EliGE. Feed the beast. As he starts to continue his campaign here on the T side of Anubis. As you mentioned, I just feel like the hot streak from M80, it can't be unchecked. And I feel like, yes, maybe some less competition in the mix there, but when they were looking at this final, when they were looking at the team right on the other side of the bracket here coming into the closed qualifiers here for IEM Sydney, I think it was clear that they thought this was a chance to prove themselves, not only versus what is the best team that NA has on offer, but also to get a chance to prove themselves at an S-tier event here alongside their campaign in Pro League. So so much silver linings here for M80 to look forward to, especially if they were going to be able to add Sydney to the calendar as well.
Oh, it's such a boon for either one of these teams to attend Sydney. Try to build on that ESL Pro Tour points that they're looking for on that rankings. Slow default here. Ops out for both squads, so we do get to see that Wolfie hallzerk head-to-head as we were hoping for, as soon as possible. But it's this mid-prong attack that complexity are looking for between hallzerk and EliGE. Dropping smokes onto this B bomb site and potentially dropping into water as an other option. And that they do. Targeting E-box now for the 4th round in a row. It's this B bomb site to be tested yet again.
Had to stack some reinforcements over towards mid, so now it does leave that B side a little bit weakened, but a great smoke there, but an even better entry from JT, making it look so easy. hallzerk's up next to fill the feed, but Wolfie stands close behind him, and maNkz still playing around the smoke to perfection here, still staying alive, but a missed shot. Wolfie not able to connect right there's a bit of a problem, and maNkz eventually gets overrun. So Wolfie's AWP just really isn't going to bring that much output right now, as hallzerk has actually made the long run back over towards that A side, so even saving is a bit of a concern here, as both the riflers stand to try and take Wolfie down, to try and make sure he can't bring that op into the next here. It's all about his awareness, as EliGE is flanking things out here, and will catch him in the back there. Complexity, they win by elimination there as they overrun that B bomb set once again.
Yeah, and I mean, the targeting of taking that E-box control and mid control pretty much for free. It's costing M80 here. Not necessarily aware of when E-box has been given over. And those B-side hits are a little too easy for complexity to drop in their set pieces. Wonderful work there for complexity to capitalize upon it. And that's the moment of hesitation that costs Wolfie. I mean, you're not going to get too many opportunities against a roster like Complexity. And so some of those inconsistencies have to get washed away if you want to talk about M80 upsetting here. So look towards players like him to kind of sink or swim here.
There's another little fun head-to-head there. Of course, Floppy versus Rek. It's going to be something that we see quite a bit today. When it comes to some of the anchored players that we see on this roster here. A lot of firepower between those two here. Grim going to fire right through that smoke or two. And take a third as well, but that's another head-to-head here. I mean, both players knowing their roles so very well and looking to challenge and test each other throughout the entirety of this best of three. That's going to be really fun to witness throughout this series as well.
Yeah, that is what makes this series so exciting, right? It's you can pretty much rely on every head-to-head being very exciting CS across the board, and you can trust that either side of the server will provide some high-octane Counter-Strike. And now hallzerk trying to take to the stage again with this TAWP. They're doing well to open things up, and he kickstarts things really, really nicely. Frag onto maNkz, or sorry, maNkz rather, and then a tag on a maNkz. JT finishes the job, and they're finding their way into the B bomb side. This time, no set piece required. Just fantastic sharpshooting there from the Norwegian.
I mean, as you said here, both oppers on both sides of things have the potential to take things over. And right there, you can see the output that hallzerk delivers, man. A tag and a frag in that round right there. Enough to facilitate JT's aggression, take that space, and honestly immediately force M80's hand on a save. Not the start that they were hoping to look for, because they're falling into the same trap that we saw Forsaken into, right? Out of the gates, you see that high-octane Counter-Strike. You see Complexity deliver so quickly. Sometimes when that train gets moving, it's impossible to stop. And again, Floppy on direct here, consistency. As we said, in an ideal world, in an ideal final, you would like to see that back and forth between all of the players in the server right now, but Floppy coming on top consistently is quite nice to see as Swisher tries to hold his ground. He will fight enough so that Wolfie will be able to save his AWP, but he's not so fortunate. That's only the op they'll be bringing into the next round.
Nothing to really back it up beyond that. You would have loved to have Swisher's A4 up in it, put him in those advanced positions, but yeah, as you said, that back and forth is what we're looking for. But so far, as that Floppy Rek head-to-head, that's as one-sided as ever. Rek yet to grace his presence on the server just yet, and quite a difficult role to do that, to be that A anchor. It's very easy to just get repetitively just blown out of the server. And with how responsible he has to remain here, things are not looking good initially for him. I like that little triple stack. I don't think I've necessarily seen that all too often, to try to potentially quell some mid-aggression. Swisher does refill that position regardless, but there's that AWP just gone. B main aggression from M80, and there's Grim to chime in. Well, maNkz does pick it up, but I think the damage is already done, and Complexity can just shift their way on over to the A bomb site, where two players lie in wait, but no AWP to deal with. Makes this quite a doable round.
Yeah, you're going to avoid that quite nicely here. Lee's just kind of lurking about in that direction, but Molly's going to flush him out. You can see they just panic to try and reposition. And doing so will get deleted. Lee's is on the other side of the map to ensure that no one is going to get out there safely. Complexity 7-1 start here. A dominant start on the map pick, of course, of M80. And I feel like all three of these maps are just, you know, at least coming through. Both teams should be able to show some strength, right? There's no clear punish pick in the vetoes.
Absolutely.
And so that's always fun, right? It doesn't mean that M80, if they don't show up here in this first half and they take themselves in a deep hole, that this series is immediately over. Because I do feel like their overpass can deliver, but it's all about, you know, them continuing the success here and the individuals rising to the occasion. But look at the CT aggression, finally starting to take some fights on their own terms. This has been read into, and what a flashbang there onto Swisher. He will have no say in this round.
And all that CT aggression has really cost them. Now EliGE is
man.
catching wreck in transition. This is a calamity for M80. Oh, an absolute direct counter there from Complexity. Fantastic work there. EliGE into spawn. JT chiming in as well. And Wolfie again has to say, what a round from Complexity. You see the way they take mid control there. It's just a couple of well-placed flashbangs. And as soon as they understand that the A side is clear, they're aware of the A main presence from Rec potentially and capitalize upon it. That's just textbook from Complexity. Well done.
Just terrifying as well. Running into EliGE like that. Another big multi-kill for him. You actually take a look at some of the players and economy here on the T side rather, and it's actually kind of devastating and a sign of where Complexity lie in right now in the advantage. It's nearly max money for EliGE before he actually drops over a gun for Grim. And so many players here on 5 digits. It's terrifying. It's so dominant right now from Complexity. And a lot of these rounds, it doesn't even feel like M80 are starting things off with a chance, right? It's just
oh my god,
coming through here. And as we continue to see those familiar kill feeds, it's EliGE onto Swisher, Floppy onto Wreck. It feels like Complexity just staking their claim here. Now Grim has another B-side aggression that he's been able to deal with all the time. This time, not so fortunate.
Finally, some silver lining for M80 to be happy about. There's maNkz with a picked up AK-47. But as I said before, E-box control coming in very easily for Complexity if they want to take it. They slow things down, essentially leave JT here and recongregate, decide where they want to jig the offense up. And I mean, there's really nothing M80 can do at this point but gamble. They decide to send 3 men onto that A bomb site, try to clear out a little bit of A main, try to get Rec involved. But with him spotting out nothing in A main, false information has essentially been gifted over to M80. They decide to stick their guns to that B site. But I think it might just be this mid to A play here. And they might have made the wrong call yet again.
Yeah, JT even got to further this fake as well. Or he'll get too much space and maybe start to call in for the reinforcements. And look at that. Malbs finds a quick kill. It's going to be Rec finally on the board here. Able to get his revenge on the Floppy. And it puts it into a winnable position here. 2v3. With some decent chances here on the postman. Especially if Malbs finds kills before the bomb even gets planted. hallzerk needs to flick quickly. But Wolfie going to get hallzerk as well. Op is his reward. And M80 going to get their second round. And a sigh of relief here.
Yeah, finally able to snap that streak somehow. It comes down to some B main aggression, punishing Grim, and then punishing the caught between two mines situation there for Complexity. Complexity thinking perhaps they could just split into that B bomb site through CT ruins, but instead didn't actually extend into that A bomb site with just Rec on a 5-7, and it cost them. But sometimes the reads just don't go your way. That stretch of fantastic reads from Complexity had to run dry at some point, and M80 finally capitalize. And that's what you need. Those are the rounds that you need to convert and at least start a half conversation about it. We do realize how T-sided Anubis is these days, and as long as M80 can stay afloat, there's no real scoreline that I could say that would put them out of the realms of competition here. Rec on the board as well. I mean, having him online at the very least would be very relieving for this squad.
100% starting to deliver, especially when it's on the Floppy, who's been the bane of your existence.
Yeah.
Finally breaks the deadlock for himself, and it nets M80 their second round here. So taking a pause immediately after and trying to figure out how they replicate that success, and something you've identified here is that E-box control has been taken a little too easily by Complexity here. Well, they're going to fight for it here, and maNkz is going to win out on that fight. Taking care of JT here. There's a battle of the IGLs now. Starts off in the opening exchange.
Yeah, that really is what I'm looking for there from M80. Now they can extend that aggression elsewhere. Now swinging out B main. Dry contact here. IGL and mobs in tow. don't actually find anything, but so much information gained now. Now they can potentially cheat over a third player. Wolfie watching for that mid split as Complexity have been leading into quite a few times. Surely that utility must be heard. And there's the bomb being dropped as well. Gifted on over, and there's mobs chiming in. The B main aggression working out wonders for M80.
hallzerk going to catch one in return there. Malbs maybe overplaying his hand just a little bit there with that peak, but you can kind of shake that off. You're still in a 4v2 with bomb in your hands, and I don't even know actually if Cole is going to give this a try. Yeah, hallzerk and Floppy, they don't really look inspired to try and recover that or anything like that, so it is going to be done and dusted. M80. One of the hardest things to do on this map is really just establish that control and find opening picks on that CT side. Well, it's maNkz that actually facilitates both of those opening kills and gets that perfect call on the aggression rate there, and kind of filling some of the gaps that Complexity were exploiting, time and time again.
Yeah, that was that active defense that we talked so much about in that Forsaken series, where M80 loves to take aggression elsewhere on the map, but they need that confidence to be under them before they take those kinds of plays. You could definitely see on a map like Overpass, where once those aggressive maneuvers weren't working out, they would turtle up in these bomb sites and hope that they could finally convert an odd round here or there due to time or maybe a potential 2v2. And now M80, they're fighting for E-Box here. They're fighting for B main control, and it's instantaneous. The decisiveness from this defense is definitely much sharper now as it was in comparison to the rounds previous. Swisher does take considerable damage to open out this round, but at the very least, I'm happy to see that M80 still have a little bit of fight in them here.
Back of that damage, though. Look at this aggression. EliGE pushing past the smoke here. I don't realize what they've just done to Swisher and probably the force of passive control that they now have to take because Swisher's down low. He can't take confident mid duels. He knows he has to rein it in again, but look at the smoke tossing again. Going to land over towards that temple area. And last time they threw that smoke here, it was a dive on in to an E-box control and pressing the issue. This time again, M80 have identified one of their weak points here, have reinforced that side of the map with multiple members with a lot of utility. As you can see still, while the smoke is down in E-box, a smoke and a molly for Malbs to recycle. Where's the end goal here? How do they not telegraph this play?
Oh, this is going to be basically a round deciding. hallzerk with a rare miss there, and Malbs punishes again. E-box aggression working out in the favor of M80, and this has to prime a specific play somewhere now with 30 seconds left on the clock, as Complexity's choices are really dwindling. I think maybe tilting back to this B bomb site. M80 have absconded the site, given so much room on over, and I think there's still room for a bomb plant here. We're not done with round number 12 just yet.
M80 have given over a little bit too much control here. All of a sudden, you got a bomb plant at the very least, but maNkz is looking to recover in the post plant here.
Oh!
That quick trade there. Floppy with 2 has evened out the odds somehow and taking even further space. He gets himself close in towards temple. Wolfie's waiting for aggression that EliGE just won't give. He's so far removed now from this retake as the riflers start to push the issue. Ready to aggress forward. Floppy avoids the util. Not another kill out of him, though. Not just yet. Meanwhile, EliGE swings for the op. Wolfie gets taken down, and Grim finds a nice transfer to close things off. Complexity will take that round by force.
I think it's just a misread there from M80. Maybe that little bit of utility shown in mid, and with how much presence they've been showing on that A side of the map, that they just bit a little too hard on it, and too much respect given to Complexity from that M80 side anchor, and it cost them. As soon as that bomb goes down, the penny drops for M80, and you have that sinking feeling that we've kind of dropped the ball here. The retake is just so difficult to overcome, and I think it's just going to be this fast B set piece. They just burst their way to the bomb site, and look at those entries from JT. Malbs tries to pull something back, but he can't really get it done. Swisher trying his mightiest to maybe have something to say here. Ooh. And a lot of damage on a Grim. Maybe Rek can get something done, and look at that. Grim actually falls to the Molotov, so we're into a 1v1 as the dust settles.
Floppy's been playing a hell of a game so far. He needs a 1v1 to close things out. And we'll be able to get Rek one more time to ensure that Complexity are able to get double digits, man. Floppy playing a hell of a game. You can understand why Rek is struggling right now, because his counterpart here is just delivering in stride.
Man, what a map Floppy is having thus far. This is immaculate stuff. I mean, the more supportive element of the team, you have an expectation that, you know, he's gonna create space for your roster. He might not necessarily get you that number, but when he is on like this, it makes JT's life that much easier. And now a clutch to add on top of it, man. Things are looking fantastic here from Complexity, riding the ship after a slow streak starting to be built up by M80. More B main aggression now, punished again from Grim though.
Jeez. I mean, it's just been flawless here from the Extremity players. Grim standing alongside him. Both players have 15 kills, and the CT side aggression, which makes teams very good on Anubis, on that CT side, it's just getting forced back time and time again. And it's such a tendency of M80 as well. You expect to see that CT side aggression. Every time you play a series, they're going to deliver that. And they worked for just a little while, but again, the individuals here that are forcing them back when Grim just deletes two and Floppy able to punish or at least get some good reads. On the A aggression, it feels like Cole are just coming ready to play here.
Yeah, absolutely. Grim doing so much work for them on that B extremity, as you said. And JT doesn't have to call too crazily when situations like that arise. But M80 really did fully invest there in that round with the tail end of the half coming up. And they won't have much to go into the next one as well, that final round of the half. Complexity should be very pleased with the half that they had, considering as well that M80 were slowly charging back up. They finally had found adaptations to maybe figure out Complexity, but some individual heroics have just completely changed that narrative. And they look very set to look into that CT half to close things out, take that 1-0 lead instantaneously.
Yeah, again, I mean, this is a map that it's really proven for Complexity. When we were talking about the series versus Forsaken, we were saying that they don't really have a comfortable choice in the matter here. And now, you know, their opponent has picked into this map here out of the gates. And this was kind of the only comfortable choice I could imagine Complexity would have had in a series. And they're definitely showing their strength here. Again, T-side of Anubis. We've seen some wild stuff here coming through in the second half, but I just don't think this is going to stop here. I don't think the pain train is going to end with how well the individuals on Complexity. Everyone's stepping up here. JT with some fiery entries. He's a bottom frag, but all of his kills have started rounds off.
Oh, absolutely. Double entries onto that B bomb site, if you guys recall back at home, but those 6 kills are worth its weight in gold and then some. Gamble now for M80, and what else can you do in this situation when you're in a man disadvantage? maNkz does pull one back in middle, so the middle prong is gone, so rotations are freed up at the very least. But, oh, I say that, actually, the B lurk is gone at that point, but rotations are freed regardless. But they have to clear out CT, and Floppy still finds another. Tries to upgrade it to a full magazine, is Wolfie, but it doesn't really work out. It's maNkz now left up in this 1v2 to defend the honor of M80 in this first half, but 3 rounds is all they can muster. We're going to take a short halftime break, and when we come back, can Complexity close out an incredible T-side haul?
Here we are. We're gonna be a map or round deep. It seems like, as does look like M80 might have picked up the pistol, and we get a little bit of a pause in the action there. Apologies for that, but yeah, looks like they close out the pistol, and if we want to talk about coming back into this one, it certainly needs to start with a pistol for M80, and maybe they can transition that success into a little bit of a comeback here. Now, they are on the T side of Anubis, so it could be all the more likely.
Yeah, you've said that crazier comebacks have happened, and that's exactly right. This T side of Anubis has created some pretty topsy-turvy results, all things said. Even at the top end of Counter-Strike, you'd think back to that Vitality phase game. I think it was like a 13-2, 14-1 half on one end of the
14-1, I
spectrum.
think, yeah.
Yeah, and I think Vitality just stormed back, win it in overtime. So we've seen crazy things happen, and I don't think that this scoreline is irrecoverable. And it definitely helps with M80 winning the pistol in such fashion. Horsefly comes out to complexity, and the tech pause is released. And I mean, I'm looking forward to this, man. If M80 can make this comeback happen, start to get this series a little bit more competitive, that's going to be all the more exciting.
Looking to start here, and they've already established a start, so we'll see if they can continue. Right, they're up against a force by complexity. They have been scrappy on these force buys. They have been brutal. And again, you know, I think the comebacks come through even despite some individuals showing up really on this map. It's just so hard to find success on the CT side in the early stages. So if they're able to find those openers, if M80 are able to utilize some of those strong pieces that they have here, it's going to be exactly what the doctor ordered to get back into this map and start to give themselves some comfort here. This B-side play, though, and it's going to work out perfect there. maNkz and Rek running through the smoke right there. They get the job done. Immediate save call.
I mean, what can you do when Rek and maNkz just go diving through your main smoke and just obliterate heads? You really can't do anything. And that is the power of that T side, as you're saying. Early duels that CTs can take are just few and far between. You're expected to kind of get those openings more with the AWP, maybe on that E-box duel, or maybe an aggressive A main duel. But when you do go for these aggressive plays, you have to dump so many resources to get yourself into that position. And that leaves you susceptible to specifically other parts of the map that can be capitalized upon very easily. I mean, your extremity players have basically nightmares here because the rotations take so long. So, as you saw in that half by complexity, Rek had such a difficult time to hold down that A-bomb site. Because as soon as he goes down, I mean, that is just a free path. This time around, it's Floppy that's going to have to defend, and he's done some incredible work on the A side of Anubis, on the CT side as well. So look out for him to continue that great start that he had on the offense. Because that head-to-head, yeah, very versatile.
And I mean, yeah, so is Rek, just wasn't able to show it in that CT side. And I mean, obviously Rek getting a little bit of a chance at redemption here, finding some injuries on that T side. There's plenty of runway here, especially now that they're starting to close out some of these rounds. They win the crucial anti-force buy, and now they get to focus up here. A little bit of an easier round at bat. There's less players with pistols and armor. They still got a decent save in that last, but again, some of these force buys here. As you can see, maNkz able to capitalize off that, but a quick response there comes through from Floppy and his MP9. Does leave that A side a bit weak, though. As you can see, they start to throw the execution here. Great read coming through here from M80. Oh, EliGE. Thought he might have been spotted by Swisher, but he definitely hears that fall off there, and EliGE lets him get right around the corner just in time. Another post plant. And I guess there's not a real point in a save. You're going to get investments up in the next, but maybe they just want to find some exits here if you're on the side of complexity. Yeah,
Floppy would love another one on that MP9, perhaps gaining just enough amount of funds to drop over to AWP to hallzerk. You'd love to get that CT AWP out and rolling as quick as possible. But M80, as soon as they see Floppy on that trade in the kill feed, they understand that A anchor is gone. The site is open, and they should be able to take it free of charge, and that they do. I mean, a kind of whatever save here for complexity, considered that I'm assuming that most of these players played outright. But I mean, to keep the Galil at the very least, have enough bells and whistles on GT's back might not be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, you probably will keep the Galil on JT's back there, and everything afforded in this round here. You know, for the first gun round, they are going to bring all the tools to the table here. Full belts of utility for almost everyone besides Grim, who's just missing a flashbang. $100 shy of that, but that's always so valuable here. You kick off this CT side with everything. Sometimes it can be strugglesome to close out when you are lacking some of those pieces here, but you have that op in hallzerk as well, and he's gonna have a chance, but he fires off. It's a missed shot initially, but he gets a chance at redemption, and JT uses that Galil against them. 2 kills coming out of it. A smoke to recycle. And this round is already devastated.
Yeah, you saw Complexity try this with their AWP on hallzerk, and it worked out wonders, but this time around the B contact doesn't work. hallzerk is so aware of it on the other half of the server and shuts things down, and of course JT, again, impact frag after impact frag from this guy. 9 and 9, but every kill has been so important. But as we get into this complete standstill in a 2v5 situation for M80 to dig themselves out of, how much damage can you reasonably do as the T's? Anything would be good to force some sort of a rebuy. Lovely flash there from Wolfie, and it actually nets them 2 frags. While they might not be able to cross potentially in Wolfie, there is space potentially for maybe more. Rek with another opportunity to fight on E-Box. Giving it to him, but there's Floppy from Ruins, and the opportunity is extinguished. Good attempt there from Rek, and lovely flashes there from Wolfie.
Hey, you should see EliGE's movement is a bit brutal right there. You're trying to pin him down with the AWP, but he's just jumping all over the place, and if you're Rek, you can only stand there for so long. It was a nice attempt. Like you said, I feel like in a 2v5, you just really have to focus on you know, bringing that damage back, and Rek was pretty easily able to put it into a 3v5, or 3v2 rather, so that was where the hope lied in on the side of M80, but it's not going to go their way. The contact play gets punished. Like you said, there's a great bit of awareness from hallzerk to just start the round posted up on B main, ready and prepared for that sort of aggression. And while the shots didn't really connect, it felt like, you know, getting the follow-up there, being able to deliver on the repeat, it helps JT as well in getting his success with the Galil, as it's a push and pull of attention that comes through on the B site defense. So Complexity, they start the gun rounds off in their favor, and really if they win this one, you might start to see the curtain call on M80.
And there's a bit of a surprise factor in this one. Double op setup for EliGE on that secondary. You never really saw him up on Liquid, but here he is posted up on middle. And I mean, in all honesty, double ops are quite powerful on this map. If you let them get settled into these rounds. Speed is definitely a great counter though, as M80 take a lot of A main control and now can potentially lurk out into Fountain if they so please, but they opt against it and instead try to just force some utility, some resources from Complexity instead, as they basically just try to jostle the defense before deciding. We've got potential mid control, E-box control lined up as well as soon as this smoke fades, so a lot of options here for M80, but I don't think they're aware of the double op setup just yet.
Not yet, no. Haven't quite fully figured that out at the moment. They're still buying time here. And that early aggression that we saw on A, it definitely did bait out a little bit of utility, but you also look at what this T side does have left in their pockets. It's not too much here. 3 smokes and 1 flashbang to facilitate the aggression here as Rek gets pressed upon. Again, enacting some revenge there, taking down Floppy on the CT aggro. Swisher able to keep his head on the swivel for that aggression over towards E-box. But what's he in goal right now? Bomb has to make a pretty long rotation on in towards that B side if that's where they want to head here. hallzerk in the back of the pillar here, tries to work around the molly. He gets out of dodge here, just can't find a fight that he's comfortable with, and JT forced off it as well. It's going to be a save, and M80, their patience pays off.
There's only one bit of utility there for M80 to flush hallzerk out. I mean, if that molly misses, or if they didn't have a molly, period, I mean, there's no flashes to get them in either, which is what I was so worried about. But it's accurate, it hits the mark, and M80 dislodge him from his goblin position as quickly as possible. M80 get themselves a 7th round, and as you said, patience pays off here for M80. Slowly starting to cut down on this gap. 7-13 now. And I mean, the double up essentially is never shown. And I think as far as complexity is concerned, they never have to really reinvest into it until very later, if they so please. That surprise factor is still open if they do want to take it later on, if they need it. Oh, actually, they'll just opt into it again here.
Run it back, baby. Let's see if we can get
Fair
it done.
enough.
Like you said, I mean, I feel like the CT side double opping, actually, it's a little bit of what I think is a crutch on this map when you don't feel super comfortable on the CT side. But, you know, I mean, whatever gets the job done, and if you give yourself such a good first half, whatever is going to get you those last couple rounds that you need, you know, sure, you can try it, you can test it out, stretch your stuff, see how it works out, and obviously, EliGE didn't really get a fight he was hoping for towards middle, never even really got a chance to pop a shot off. But, I mean, running it back here, second chance.
Fair enough. I mean, the thing is it is just a heavy investment overall that you do suffer in terms of floppy. A fast A play would just completely decimate complexity if it did happen. Of course, I'm talking in theoreticals, but there are options here. There are holes, even with this double op setup. There always will be a push and pull here. And JT wants to get himself involved in this mid fight straight away. Doesn't necessarily spot out too much. Swisher, that standard mid player, is spotted, but beyond that, it's a post up here for EliGE on A main this time, with Floppy to support on that 5-7.
Oh no. The flashbang, it missed right there big time.
Yeah.
That cost Wreck his life right there. It could have been easy to blind EliGE off that angle, but instead now, you find that pick. I think they got the AK removed. So it's not gonna, oh no, they didn't. Yeah, Floppy gonna upgrade right there, and they're already in a deficit. Another peek there, but a missed shot from hallzerk on the other end of things. As they try and get the utility down here, they're really making hallzerk uncomfortable once again and trying to find this fight, but he still holds steady. Gonna hold his ground. M80, again, left walking away with their tails tucked for now from the B play. And there's the third rotator arriving from complexity as well.
You don't have any E-box control. They're going to try to retake that via maNkz, but he's only one player. And how much attention can they give away? It doesn't matter. maNkz just single-handedly rips open that part of the map, and it's just hallzerk, aforementioned player in the back of the B bomb site. 25 HP to his name. No utility to stall any longer. It's him against the world, or M80 claim themselves in 8th, but he dies to the flames. And it's off the save for Floppy and EliGE. The double op setup doesn't work as intended. And what do you do now for complexity?
Wow, that's absolutely insane right there, man. maNkz delivering now on the side of M80. Double entry, man. Just making it look easy as well. Look at the fight. He peeks into 2 people. He walks away with 74 HP. Both players had rifles in hand, but he just devastates the defense right there. That's incredible on his side of things, and that's going to inspire the rest of the troops.
It's not even like the fact that the M80 boys on the B main side drew enough attention. It wasn't even like backs turned. Both of these players are looking directly at him, and the fact that he wins that head-to-head is I mean, it's basically like 9 times out of 10 you do just lose that duel, and complexity has the right read, and they get their 14th. The read was correct at the end of the day, but individual brilliance from the IGL takes them over the line. And those are the kinds of rounds you need, man. I mean, it sends complexity to another eco situation. EliGE actually holding on to the AWP, and we try to continue to close that gap even further.
That's exactly what they're looking to do here. I mean, this all of a sudden becoming a very exciting game, just knowing, you know, the history of this map and what T-sides can do. M80 are slowly chewing through this lead and have more opportunities to follow up here. Wreck is going to take care of Floppy again, man. Being able to shut down one of the rifles here, one of the best weaponry outside of the EliGE AWP. But there's still an op that stands close by here. You can't get too comfortable. hallzerk going to give Rek the fight, though. And now Rek being able to really show up right now. It's a turret from him. Flashbang comes through. It hits EliGE. But he will finally be able to shut down that presence. Spots nothing else towards middle. And this could be a huge gap here now from Complexity to just hit that bomb site there through mid.
Yeah, wonderful call there from maNkz. Understanding the hole in the defense. Understanding that EliGE most likely goes aggressive here. And there's the smoke flash combo to secure the round, essentially. Love the little discipline there from M80. Confirming no individual brilliance from the side of Complexity this time around. And M80 nabbed themselves their 9th. But hey, I mean, as far as Complexity is concerned, they got to hold on to the dropped gun from Floppy and scoop up Rex. So 2 AKs and an AWP, I don't think that's too bad for Complexity.
It's a victory for sure that you get to walk away with all of this firepower here. But that is if maNkz is doing a little bit of hunt. Nicely done. And a 1 fight there from Grim. It's going to ensure their safety here. So here we are. 9 rounds for M80. With the lead that they have, I still consider holding on to this weaponry a huge victory, right? They
for sure
bring themselves multiple AKs, and I think you can kind of maybe shake off that double op here if you're EliGE. Maybe if they want to. See if they continue that.
Wow, I think they're just adamant here, man. That's ridiculous.
They're not budging at all here. I mean, you could have EliGE on an AK taking some fights towards middle, but he might just stick with it again, and that's exactly what's going on right now. Oh, no. Okay, he did toss it over. There it is. Okay. Gonna get onto the rifle here, gonna get onto the A1S, and finally they're gonna give up the idea of this double op here.
As soon as it is discovered that potency does wear off eventually, there are direct counters to it. The set pieces on this map are very powerful, and look at that. I mean, he doesn't need the AWP when his bursts are looking that sharp. Rek goes down, that A extremity dealt with, and M80 have to respond in kind as soon as possible. They want to go into this B split pretty much instantaneously, flash in, but I love that Molotov directly. It makes a tough fight for Swisher, but he still makes it look easy. Burning alive there, and now hallzerk and JT, they've got some easier fights to deal with. Bombardment of utility both ways.
Swisher just trying to play around the smoke here, gets past it, but he's getting spammed down. JT makes that fight so difficult, and hallzerk will claim the last kill right there, trying to elevate the aggression, especially after you lose Rek at the start of the round. That leaves M80 with very little options, and they kind of just get funneled into multiple Molotovs there in the heat of the moment. And that's going to let Complexity close things off with relative ease, at least for 14.
Yeah, it's those molly timings that really helped Complexity out right there. Sure, Grim does go down, but then if Swisher comes out, he's coming out with less HP, and he doesn't have trade potential behind him. So that disjointed play in E-Box actually segments easy duels for Complexity. And then there's not too many personnel coming out of B main, so hallzerk deals with that in kind. And it looks very easy for Complexity, and it all comes down to their utility usage there more than anything. And they've essentially broken that streak that the T's have been building for so long now. It is a sign of relief, at least, that, you know, perhaps there is a world where they can close things out here. But M80 have still a couple more buys left in the tank before we can say goodbye to Anubis. And that could just be enough for them, in all honesty, to pull things back here.
Absolutely could here. We got that aggression coming through. We get a little head-to-head. EliGE's back on the secondary. Another thing to note. Gonna roll it on back here, and this time he's gonna start things off. It's another opening pick. He does it with the rifle. He does it with the op. He does it all. He's gonna up on the angle here. He's going in. A little bit of aggression. That molly will keep him at bay here. Smoke fort quickly. Peeks into maNkz, and maNkz will show him what's up right there.
That's a big scalp to take. EliGE down for the count. Again, that secondary AWP essentially going one and done. A lot of real estate given over to M80 as they take that mid control. Rek is still thinking about scouring in for that A main control, but thinks better of it. Decides to dive back in the E box. Rejigging the setup by M80, but looky here. IGL JT pushed up in a B main. Has an opportunity to snipe down a couple players. Actually gets 2 on that burst. Wolfie and maNkz just drop to the floor. And sure, maNkz can trade. Sure, there's a bomb plant, but man advantage complexity and an opportunity to nab away map point here with a weakened M80.
Yeah, but they still have to close things down in 3v2. We got a little flank play coming on through. But you still have maNkz with that AWP playing in a post plant. We've already talked about the value. I can go through with an op late into the around when the timer's ticking against the CT side here. They're really slow and patient on this flank. And you look at the utility that complexity have left. 3 Molotovs still to try and flush them out of position. I mean, that could just completely encapsulate the entirety of this E-box position, but instead maNkz going to be first to strike, making sure that that Molotov isn't going to find success. Another shot popped off here. That molly doesn't go quite deep enough, nor does that one. It's a flashbang that comes through a little bit too late, but maNkz, he claims all 5 kills in the round, will completely shut that down. And again, it's a little bit of heroics from maNkz that's going to keep M80 in this map.
How does this guy pull it off, man? I mean, first it's the punish onto EliGE on the reswing in mid, and then it's shutting down JT from going too big in the back of B main. But those final 3 kills in quick succession, sure, hallzerk gives one up, but the punishment of that refrag potential, and then the third to finish on just a sliver angle there. We didn't get to see his POV, but that's a tough shot to hit to close. And that's the only opportunity he'll have, you know? With that molly up in front of his face, the defuse could still have come out. What a way for M80 to reach double digits, man.
A lot of excitement here building on the side of M80. There's no question about it. maNkz is delivering here on the T side, man. Absolutely stunning. Elevated angle here. Will EliGE feed this kill? They are waiting patiently, but EliGE just won't give it up. He's gonna peek here. You can see what he's holding for. Just a sliver angle, waiting for his timing to strike. He's so very patient. There's the flashbang to go on in here, but a pre-fire comes through. EliGE finally gonna shut down maNkz. Not gonna be able to let him strike late and just get out of dodge here with the kill that he finds, just barely escaping the grasp of Swisher, unable to trade. As the smokes fly in towards middle, they will be willing to concede that control in the 4v5.
Considering the A split here, smoking off CT ruins yet again. It has to be this duel from Rec. But the 2-for-1 comes out. EliGE trades effectively. And I think we're looking at potentially complexity racking up round number 15. It's only Wolfie left up in this 1v3 situation. Smoke start to fade, options start to dwindle here for the Swede, and he swings in a hallzerk. hallzerk decapitates his counterpart. And as I said, complexity taking map point. It takes quite a long time to do it, but what a time to actually get it over the line, because M80's money is just shredded to tatters.
It's that nightmare territory, man, that no team likes to be in, where you have to make it happen with a very rough purchase here. They get a couple Gleals as the best bit of weaponry, but they stand beside Tech-9s and Deagles here to keep their life on Anubis. And again, they made it respectable here. They gave us the T side that we hoped for out of M80, but I think it's that defense that could haunt them here if they're not able to close things out. As they, again, prioritize E-box control. You could imagine a flashbang being lined up here. There it's thrown out by Rec, avoided by Grim, but he gets overrun. There's another entry from maNkz that could facilitate this B side, but again, great utility from the B side defenders. JT gets a molly on off here. Another kill from Swishers. Tech-9, who finds multiples, finally shut down through the smoke by Floppy, trying to save the day. The site is now claimed here. The mollies are so deep, forcing them so far back. Oh, this flash is tossed in as well. They continue to fight here. EliGE trying to just spray down range, but the time is ticking here. And they're going to get themselves in some comfortable pose plants as well.
Yeah, at this point, do you even go for it? I think that kill from Floppy certainly feels like it's possible. maNkz is low, still stuck on that pillar position, but no utility to actually dissuade him from this angle. That smoke, though, that could be everything. Now Rec can't support. Now there's a chance to get on the bomb, and Floppy's tapped it. Floppy's on it, and he's going to stick it all the way. The angle is just not right there from Rec, and 16-10 is that final scoreline for complexity. They find a way to fight tooth and nail to get those last couple of CT rounds, but damn did M80 make it close.
Yeah, again, that's the sort of high-octane Counter-Strike that we do like to see. M80 able to deliver despite a 3-12 scoreline at the start of that half.